Hello, hello, hello. We are entering into the Christmas season. I pulled out my Christmas sweater. So excited. But I also just wanted to come on and give you some tips for the holidays, because this can be a wonderful time of year, but also a stressful time of year for some people, especially if you're heading to holiday parties, if you know that you kind of fall off the wagon or off of your plan or what have you during this month. So I'm just going to chat about some things that have helped me in the past, and maybe they will help you. So, number one, if you're heading to holiday parties, big meals, things of that nature, don't save all of your calories for that one meal. So don't skip breakfast and lunch, because then you can eat everything you want at dinner. You will feel, I'm sure you've experienced this already. I'm sure all humans have experienced this around holiday time, but way too full, and then you feel gross, and then your night is kind of ruined because you just need to be rolled back home. So ensuring that you're getting protein in the beginning portion of the day is going to help to stabilize your blood sugar. Heading into this meal, it'll mean that you're not absolutely starving heading into Christmas dinner or multiple Christmas dinners, or however many days that this lasts for you and your family or your friends, whoever you're spending it with. So that's one thing. Don't save it all for dinner time. If you're heading to holiday parties, take something that you know that you're going to want to eat. Like if you don't know what's about to be served, if it's kind of like a cocktail party or something like that, bring a healthy dish, or like something that you know that you would like to eat, so you don't have to, show up and eat just chips for dinner if that's kind of what's being served. So bring something that you know you're going to want to eat, or eat before you go to parties like that if you're kind of unsure what the situation is. Don't spend all of your time standing near the appetizer table. That's something that I need to remind myself of, because it can be really, really easy to just stand there and keep eating and drinking if that's where you're doing your socializing. Chew more. This is a huge one, because digestion starts in the mouth with mechanical digestion and with breaking down some of your food and some of those molecules in your mouth. And so chewing more means that you'll feel full sooner. You'll get more out of the food that you're eating. Your digestion will work properly. You'll get less symptoms after your meal, less gas, less bloating, that type of thing that you don't want at holiday parties anyway. So chew more, remind yourself to chew. Being able to set proper boundaries. I mean, this could be obviously a much larger conversation than this 5-minute video, but being able to say no to food pushers, if you have food pushers in your family, or if you have food pushers as friends, that's something that becomes very obvious during this time of year. So being able to say no without giving a reason, which is obviously that's a little bit harder, but no is a full sentence. And so if you need to practice what you're going to say before you head into parties, something that people never mess with, if it's your friends, for example, this could even work with your family too, but saying that things are like you have a food sensitivity or something like that, even if you don't, just to get people to stop pushing certain things towards you, is a way that can work. If you're not comfortable yet with setting a proper boundary and saying no, just say no, kids. What else could be helpful here? I mean, the alcohol situation when it comes to holiday parties is a tough one, because sometimes people have festive drinks that are filled with sugar. So I would stick to whatever your alcohol of choice is, mixed with some soda water or club soda, with lemon, lime, things like that can add something to it naturally, so you can stay away from pops and some of the more sugary types of things. Or a dry wine, also a good option, mulled wine, things like that. I mean, message me if you have questions or things that you specifically struggle with over the holiday time. If you do indulge at these parties, just drop the guilt afterwards. Such a big part of the reason that this is a stressful time for people is that there's so much guilt associated with overindulging at these types of meals. And just understanding that you're not going to gain 5 pounds overnight. It might feel that way, but it's mostly water retention. So don't worry, don't stress. It's all fine. Like, if you've ever heard of the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, as long as you're consistent with what you're doing 80% of the time, you will still hit your goals in a very sustainable way. And that's all you have to remember. So you can have nights like that without the guilt. Take the guilt away. And believe me, that's harder, easier said than done, because I used to struggle with the guilt when it came to food a lot. So it's a process, but just remembering that if you're on track 80% of the time, you're fine. There's things that you can do to stabilize blood sugar, which I've talked about in previous videos. So having some apple cider vinegar in your water, or lemon in your water, something sour, bitter, before or after that meal or throughout the party. Things that you can do the next day if you are holding a lot of water retention, or if you're hungover, would be making sure to rehydrate, replenish electrolytes and your sodium for hangover specifically. There's also things like borage oil that you can use for, it's high in omega-3s, things like that can help reduce inflammation and help with hangover symptoms. Ginger for nausea, things like that. I've got a list of hangover things. If you want to message me, I can send those your way as well. For water retention, certain types of teas can really help with water retention if you feel really just gross the next day. Things like having a dandelion tea or a nettle tea are both really great for helping the liver out. And this is turning into a much longer video than I expected it to be, because now I'm heading into all sorts of other things. Point being, holiday parties don't have to be stressful. They're supposed to be fun. Just because you are off track one night doesn't mean you're off track for the whole rest of your life. Really getting rid of that all or nothing mentality is a big part of a sustainable plan, and being able to coach yourself through those scenarios as well. And message me if you have anything that you need, any questions as we head into this time of year. Hope you're doing great. Talk to you soon.